home, as eligible voters in Edo State will go to the polls on Saturday, September 21st, to elect a new governor that will take over from the incumbent Godwin Obaseki, who will complete his statutory 8-year tenure by November 12, 2024. Campaigns for the coveted seat have been intense. Candidates from 17 political parties are in the contest. No doubt the election is a three-horse race, but this particular contest is peculiar in several ways. The rivalry between PDP, the governing party in Edo State, and APC, the party in charge at the national level, is more of a status and influence contest between two former allies, Governor Godwin Obaseki and his predecessor, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, now a senator. And of course, the candidate of Labour Party, Olumide is poised to take advantage of the numerical strength of the zone he hails from. Now, the three leading candidates are Asue Ighodalo of the governing People's Democratic Party, PDP, Olumide Akpata of Labour Party, and Monday Okpebholo of All Progressives Congress. So, of course, the countdown is on. Saturday is D-Day. Rufai, I know you've done so many interviews, so many analysis on this. Your take?
Okay, it's D-Day down to 3, like they say, front runners. But this is not also to negate the role the other political parties will play. So we give them their due credence. But the 3 candidates, number 1, Asue Ighodalo, lawyer, cosmopolitan, very well exposed, done a lot, for companies. Used to be chairman of a bank before he came out here, and also other FMCG companies. Has a lot going for him. Owns a very reputable firm and all of that. Downsides to him will be the Obaseki factor. The fact that, yes, he's not had many, cognate experience as regards governor, but he has worked with the government on many projects as regards raising money for the state and all of that. I mean, the work he's done with Alagodaro and all of that. But the Obaseki factor, it was said that Obaseki made a lot of enemies, and those enemies might just transfer to him. And also the fact that he's from the central, and he's going up against an Olumide Akpata that is coming from the south, which is the biggest voting bloc, because there are really 2 big voting blocks: the central, the south, and the north. So those are other factors against him. Will he be able to sail through? It's going to be dicey. It's a race that's going to be run to the very end. Very, very, very deep race, I should say. He comes from Ewoimi in the central. The truth is the central is not a big voting bloc compared to the south. The candidate of the Labour Party comes from the south. Will they be lucky through that way? No, but I don't know. But there's also a sentiment, because people in Edo feel that it's the turn of the central, that the last time, since the return to democracy, you had someone from the central. I'm talking about Professor Sarimi Osumba. It was botched in the courts. That administration didn't last long. And the last time you had somebody in the central was Ambrose Ali. This was in the 80s. So people are looking that this is the time of the central. Will that zeitgeist ring true? Only time will tell. Monday Okpebholo has experience, from being a senator. I think some analysis were saying maybe he doesn't have a lot of governance experience. No, being a senator, you come with some experience politically. He's not a small politician. In terms of experience, has a lot of experience. But as regards running a state, not too good about the experience. Some people say he's got a war chest. They say he's also popular, because of a lot of the controversy and shenanigans. Things are not going for him. Obviously, he's not attending any debates. In fact, it was so shambolic that the Labour Party candidate was saying, I think at a debate, that in fact they were offering to bring Oshiomhole to debate for him, which is shambolic. He's not able to articulate his views. He's got a manifesto out, yes, but him articulating those views, we've not seen a lot of it. They're also saying he's got probably federal might working for him. I don't know how that works, because the only might that should work in this election should be the Edo people might, and that's what should matter. Olumide Akpata, yes, won NBA presidency. He made record because normally NBA presidency, there's that dichotomy that normally goes to the sun. He won it without being a sun. It's not really a sun still date, and that should speak a lot. Great campaigner, very cosmopolitan. He's got public sector experience. Because see, if you've won NBA president, you've got public sector experience, because definitely he's liaising with National Assembly, a couple of other people and things like that, and the government in general. And it was very forthright in his time. But the question is, who is he on ground? People are saying that he's running against the convention, where they are saying that a central candidate from Edo Central should emerge governor, but he's from the south. He has something working for him. The south is a big voting bloc, but will they holistically go for him? There are other machinations there. So let's see how all of that passes. Because if you look at it, some deputy governor candidate of the PDP, I think, also comes from the south. So will he also be able to pick up the votes of the north? As for Okpebholo, they say he might have a strong advantage with the north because of Adams Oshiomhole and Ali and Shoaibu. being in the APC now, trying to bring out the not vote for him. But let's see how all of these permutations pan out. But most importantly, let the Edo people speak. And 35,000 police officers have been deployed. I hope they will stop the shenanigans of rigging and corruption in the electoral system.
Okay, Edo goes to the polls in an off-cycle election that would, follow the completion of Governor Obaseki's tenure on November 12, I think, November 12, 2024. Now, this election, in the lead up to this election, there have been a number of issues that have to be highlighted. Number one is the threat of violence. Edo people are going into this election with the fear that there could be a violent outbreak among the gladiators involved in this election, with the kind of conflicts that we have seen ahead of the election. Number two, debates do not determine elections, as they do not elsewhere in the United States or in other jurisdictions. But here we have seen in Edo State a situation whereby the main candidates, three-horse race. This day newspaper on its front page describes it, and I think that description is accurate. Refused to debate. Only one person showed up at that debate. Asue of the PDP did not show up. Monday Okpebholo did not show up. Now, the fear of violence also is signposted by the fact that in the last week or so, when the National Peace Accord went there, people were very reluctant to sign the peace accord. The PDP, in fact, resolutely refused to sign peace accord because the PDP was saying that INEC is compromised and also that the Nigerian police is compromised, even if the Inspector General of Police pointed out that the police is non-partisan. The police is deploying 35,000 policemen, officers. Other security agencies are deploying 8,000 officers. So you are going to have an off-cycle election where you have 43,000 persons providing security. We expect that all the parties involved in this election would ensure peace, because the threat of violence is the number one issue in this election. Number two, that the people of Edo State will be allowed to have a say. The election should not be about godfathers, it should be about the people themselves making an informed choice about who they want. Otherwise, what you will find after Saturday will be extended litigation. Two of the front runners in that race are lawyers. Asue and Olumide, you can be sure that they will go to court and that there will be legal fireworks. And the people, at the end of the day, as we observed in the 2023 general elections and before then, could be discounted. Let the people's vote count for the security people and also for INEC. Now to the main substance of this day newspaper this morning, trying to analyze the three major contenders. Well, if you look at the front page of this day, it says very clearly that Asue Ighodalo is very well educated. He has a brilliant pedigree, both in terms of parental background and also in terms of his education. Board chairman in many places, well educated. He can speak, he can strike all the points. But this day newspaper says, well, he has some weaknesses. What are those weaknesses? One, that this race in Edo State on Saturday has become a race between Obaseki and Oshiomhole. Senator Oshiomhole was the man that brought Obaseki to government house in 2016. But by the next election, they had fallen out. And, a lot of that. So it's going to be a battle royale between the APC and the PDP, between Oshiomhole saying that, look, I'm the bigger boy in this town. And Obaseki saying, well, your boy has also grown and we are in charge here. So you see a game of personalities at that level. Ighodalo, has a manifesto, a proper manifesto, where he's promising pathway to prosperity. And he's been very active on the campaign trail. Now, the next person, Olumide Akpata, is also a very well-educated person, former president of the Nigerian Bar Association. He also has the advantage of coming from Labour Party. Labour Party in Edo South, I think, in the last election, did very well, producing at least a senator in Edo State. There are people who even claim that Labour Party is very strong on the ground in Edo State. but, it comes from Edo South. Edo South has the largest number of registered voters, 58% of registered voters. That's an advantage to him. But the emerging consensus in Edo State is that the governor should come from Edo Central, where Okpebholo and Asue Ighodalo comes from. The people of Ighodalo are saying in Esan West that it should come from their side, because Okpebholo's side had collected the senatorial seat, and it's their turn to produce the governor. The last time they produced the governor was when Professor Osarieme, emerged for 18 months before he was removed, and Governor Oshiomhole emerged, at that time. Now to Okpebholo, he seems to be the weakest part of the link in this particular case. Now, this is a man who went on the campaign trail and promised the people insecurity. He had to be immediately corrected by more knowledgeable people around him. This is a man that we have not seen at media interviews, who has been dodging, the opportunity to articulate his people. If he has a manifesto, I'm not aware of it. And I'm a very attentive person. Well, maybe some people will say, well, I didn't pay enough attention. But he says he's doing word-to-word campaign. The man who has been speaking for him most of the time, has been Senator Oshiomhole. Senator Oshiomhole is not the candidate. He's a big factor in the election, but Edo people were denied the opportunity to listen to Okpebholo. We are told that the advantage that he has is federal might. Federal might is an anomaly in this case, because they are saying because he's from the APC and APC is in power at the center, then the APC will do everything to put him there. No, he should not go there because he's an APC candidate. Because APC is the government at the center. He should go there if the people of Edo State think that that is what they deserve. At the end of the day, this matter, we cannot predict with certainty that this is how it will end in Edo State. But the truth of the matter is that the people of Edo State should know that they will only get the governor that they think they deserve. If they vote one way or the other, if they allow federal might, if they allow pedigree, if they allow competence, if they allow education, the choice is theirs. We don't have a dog in that fight, because I don't have a voter's card that allows me to vote in Edo State. The one I have is from another state. I rest my case.
Absolutely. So many, I love the brilliant analysis that always happens on the program. And I think the key word is undoubtedly unpredictable. The permutations of this election remind me of the presidential election, because you have the traditional strongholds of PDP and APC, and then you have the third force that has come into the conversation, the Labour Party, which has made the predictions all the more complex. The question comes down to which of these scenarios, which of these permutations, is going to favor someone, even though it looks like it's going to be a very tight margin. The question is, Labour Party is going to come and take from either the PDP or the APC, or possibly both. So, is it going to be a situation where Labour Party divides votes to the extent that PDP leads by a small margin or APC wins by a small margin? Or is it going to be a scenario where Labour Party is able to amass the supporters from both sides to emerge as the victor? Of course, all of the dynamics that are at play have already been spelled out. One of the major dynamics that has been brought out being that Olumide is from the south. And the general narrative, the consensus is that it's time for the central. Well, is it really time for the central? It's not a written rule. So it's up to the people of Edo State to decide. So many other factors. Who is really the underdog? One would expect that Olumide from the Labour Party is the underdog. However, strangely enough, it now seems like Monday Okpebholo, who has shied away from the public eye, who has chosen to rather engage in grassroots engagement, has now turned into the underdog. So the question is, as we have seen in the past in Edo State, will this be a competition from the underdog? There's a question of godfathers, Obaseki versus Oshiomhole. Oshiomhole has been extremely active. Now, this will be a test of his past governance, a test of how much of a hold he still has on Edo State, because of course he has a point to prove. After the upset of the last election, this is a critical do or die election for him. But the question is, after all we've seen transpiring in Rivers State between former governor and current governor, are people really ready to get themselves into a situation where they're not sure who their real governor is? Because that's how the optics come across. Yes, we've heard all of the candidates come and say, oh, I don't have a governor, I stand on my own. But ultimately, it's only one of the candidates that we've seen truly come and not have a godfather, and that's the Labour Party candidate. So that's going to have to come into play. Another thing, of course, that's coming into play concerning Monday Okpebholo is that the narrative around him has been that suggests that he's maybe not quite refined enough for the role. I've been saying repeatedly that speaking English is not a measure of intelligence. But the question is, what do the people of Edo State think? How do they feel? He's already a senator, and that's not an easy feat. How did he get there? So he must have something, some sort of arsenal in his back pocket that he's ready to play on. Besides the Oshiomhole factor, he must have something that he feels because he's been through this process before. Now, let's move over to Asue Ighodalo, who is, some may say, the man of the moment, the man who most likely looks, many people would probably put their bets on him, of course, because he's being produced by the incumbent party. But again, he has been criticized severally because a lot of people are saying he's not connected with the grassroots. He's not local enough. He doesn't come and speak his local dialect enough when he's addressing people. He's a very cosmopolitan, Lagosian force. So again, will Edo people choose the refined, exposed individual, or are they going to go for the guy who's more, I wouldn't say relatable, but for the guy who has chosen to rather keep a low profile and just engage with people on the ground? And then, of course, there is the intellectual luminary who's Olumide Akpata, and the Peter Obi factor. I remember when he came for the interview here, he said that, well, of course, the Peter Obi factor is alive and well in his campaign. And of course, we've seen Peter Obi come onto the ground and campaign with him. However, right now we see the controversy, the scandal, the mess that is going on in the Labour Party. How much of an impact will that have? Will his profile and his campaign strategy be enough to stand for him and separate him from some of the chaos we're currently seeing taking place in the Labour Party? So those are some very pertinent questions that we're going to have to ask ourselves. It seems we are departing from the politics of political parties, and this is going to be an election based on individuals, on personalities, and people's affinity to those individuals and what they feel is best for Edo State moving forward.